Hello, greetings from Samahita. It's Paul here. Hope you're feeling good, whatever time of day it is today. So we'll spend about the next half hour working through a few breath elements and then into, let's call it internalization, okay? So the meditative process, okay? So I hope your understanding is starting to shift, that it's not just, oh, I do meditation like mindfulness and I do breath and pranayama things. That's not even close to how it works, yet those are elements in it. And they're all connected through an inner attunement, an inner focus, an inner connection, an internalization as such. So to boil it all down, the aim of all that we practice under whatever philosophical, traditional name you want to put it, but it is, and this is more or less the kind of raw technical meaning of what yoga is to go in. And going in means you leave phenomena, external, you just move away from them, your connection to them, which is why some of the process feels like things are drawing in up your spine and so on. Okay? And that is possible. And then one starts to have stronger inner experiences because there is less energy usage externally or withdrawing of information externally. Right? That's what your sensory system is doing. It's basically taking information from around you. And then, of course, there's information from within the body and so on. So you call it more interoception as such. So the whole process of what we do is to bring us in, see? So even if your main part of yoga is just your asana practice, then assess it for yourself from that angle, approach it in that way, and you'll have quite an interesting relationship with it. It can be easy to say, oh, but of course I do that anyway, but when you really start looking and paying attention, because looking and paying attention means there's no other chatter in the mind, meaning the mind doing its thing, which creates chatter. So that means even if you're just doing certain poses, you're paying attention to what you're doing, how you're doing it. Now, what I did want to do today is spend a little bit of time. The world of hatha basically gets into the inner focus zone of navel and lower abdomen, down as far as your pelvic floor. So we do practices from that area. We cultivate that area. It doesn't have to be, you don't build the bottom part of a six-pack down there, you see. You don't even have to have some high level of sensation. You just have to be able to use it and connect with it, etc. And there's a certain amount of activity that happens up to the navel zone. Then we can get into the heart area. And the heart area, of course, is it's that sense of opening, that sense of understanding, that beauty, that share, that care, that love. Then you can go right up into the center of the brain almost. And it's not a cognitive function, so you're not trying to figure out something. Even when we do the contemplation, like thanks or forgive, we're using a certain cognitive element, following a thought pattern directed within, but it's really in the heart then. So this, when we're up in the brain, is sort of nothing. So in a way, our practices are getting into this space of nothing. And we do some of these things, like I've done with you in the past few weeks, of cycling the energy and tuning into those flows. And really, you're tapping into a space. Okay? And of course, that gives us stability, grounding, openness, understanding. If you want to call it protection, call it support, security, with care and love. So, we'll spend our bit of time today from the pelvic floor to navel area, then to the heart, and then into the center of the brain. Okay? And allow me to be your guide on this process today. So just make sure you have a good seat. Relax your shoulders. Relax your mouth, jaw, tongue, through the throat. Sometimes I like to rock a little bit on the sit bones. Check that. Can even push the lumbar to sacrum back a bit. If that goes into collapse, pull out of there, okay? Then you want to relax heart, upper abdomen, navel, and even lower abdomen. And first you're just with the breath, okay? So what we'll do now, and ideally it works on this video streaming format, so if you are familiar with Kapalabhati, the pumping action, but we want to be specific, that pumping action comes navel and below. And it has its effect there. It also has an effect through the lungs, which wrap around your heart. And its name refers to the prefrontal region, Kapala. So obviously it seems to have some effect there, which most likely is due to the increase in blood circulation, which causes better neuronal functioning, of which that's very dense here in the prefrontal. So the beauty of this practice and why I would bow to it is it's going to get at these three zones I've referred to. Okay, but we'll keep it simple. We're going to do 3 rounds. First round, just pump. And the next 2 rounds, we're going to hold the breath after it. Okay, so 20 pumps. How do you start? You don't bother breathing. You relax your belly. You relax your lower abdomen. You get a little hold of the pelvic floor. In a natural sense, there's a little flow in the nose. And then we'll go together. Into a longer exhale. Hold just at the end of that exhale. See if you can visually, mentally connect with the pelvic floor. So just beyond the anus, root of penis if male, vaginal wall female, and you're kind of holding that, little grip, and now take an inhale. So as you hold the pelvic floor, the inhale expands above the navel, side ribs, chest, heart. Excuse me. Allow an exhale. So what's going to happen with the next 2 rounds is, excuse me, I got to take some water. What's going to happen with the next 2 rounds is when that exhale after the pumping goes to its point, then we're going to pause, hold the nose, and tilt the chin a little bit, okay? Excuse me. So, be relaxed. So before you do any pumping, you relax. You don't take an active inhale, because that will trigger your diaphragm, and then you'll be in a different state of tension as you pump. So instead, you do nothing. But it's a natural passive flow of breath in, and then I begin, okay? So, relax. 30 pumps. You make it a longer exhale now. But not all the way, so there's still some residual volume in the lungs, and you pause, close your nose with thumb and ring finger, lift your heart, tilt just halfway, so it's not a full-on Jalandhara, and just be comfortable. Come up whenever you need to, or when I come up. lift your head. Hold the pelvic floor, see it, mentally see it. I'm still here. The camera has shifted. But if your eyes are closed and you're practicing, that's fine. So, allow a nice inhale. Double click. So just be with a soft breath for a moment. Good, we're going to do one more, if you're able to, up to 50 pumps, and we'll probably hold it out as well a little bit longer. What I would recommend is that as you're pumping, your mental focus is at the navel and just below. And then as you go into the exhale, you're drawing the exhale through the lower abdomen, so your focus is there. And then when you pause and hold the breath, you keep your attention, awareness in and around the navel, okay? That's our focus there. And when we finish that next hold, you'll have a very soft inhale and you just stay focused there till the next level of guidance, okay? So, one more round, relax. Ah in your mouth. And we go together. Going into an exhale. Empty. Hold the pelvic floor and hold the nose. Lift your heart. Tilt. And you lift your head and inhale. Should never need to come out and feel suffocating, short of breath. Those are simple guidelines on how to navigate pranayama. So what you actually did was Kapalabhati, technically a kriya, and we did an external bahya kumbhaka after it. And it has its physical regulating benefits, but then it draws, I should hope, draws your mind in, keeps you in. Now just stay looking in and around behind the navel for another minute, okay? And the breath is passive. It's level 1 meditator's breath, passive. On your mouth, focus in and around behind the navel. Can you stay in around the navel, or are you starting to waver because your mind is moving here and there? Be aware, come back. Now, staying at the navel, loop out of your navel around to the base of the pelvic floor, and then go up pelvic floor behind pubic bone to navel. Follow that knot, loop, closed loop, knotted action. Technically raising the base energy while staying rooted and grounded. Follow that loop knot many times now. Can you stay with it, or are you losing it? Come back. It's okay. Come back. And then up into the navel. Now continue up the center channel into the heart area. Stay in the heart area. See, we've taken care of our base, many of our primal urges that tend to throw us off, distract us, and even get us into trouble. Food, fear, and sex. Sometimes they're all mixed up together. And of course, there's appropriate fear that can be healthy, and food and sex, of course, can also be. So that's why we channel those areas, the base, bring it up, and now it's up in the heart, see? So you have a stable, grounded, healthy base. Now the heart expresses something, what we might say is more pure. It is not confused with other urges and desires. This does not completely happen in one day, but please understand the concept, how it's working. We all have ourselves to look in at and work with, work on. Now you're in your heart. And most people that concentrate in the heart can start to feel it expand and open. Our aim is that it's been cleaned up from beneath it, you see. Otherwise you expand and open with a lot of your own mess or impurities. So instead it's like, no, my intentions are clear, simple, honest, not confused, not disturbed or mixed up with other unprocessed desires and urges. See? So now I'm in my heart, and really it's just a very simple, pure love, expanding heart. I care for you. Can you open and share? Maybe you can call it loving kindness, metta. You can call it just being nice, feeling the raw content of your own heart. So let's be here now and feel it pulsate and expand. Pulsate and expand. So it's almost like just below the heart, you energetically move up and then it expands out like a big circular vortex. And you go on these pulses of that. Up, expand out, up, expand out. Your base is solid, channeled, your heart is expanding. It is not disturbed because you're ideally, quick check, your mouth, jaw, tongue are they're relaxed. Back to your heart. Is the mind slipping? Come back to the heart. Remember, anybody can do the practice of mind slipping, mind wandering. Anybody, anywhere can do that, and that's not what we're here for. You're here to be in your expanding, all-embracing heart. Now, in the middle of that, boom, there's gratitude. Feel it. Feel that. Sending it, sharing it with whoever comes up. Could be in the body, out of the body, spirit form, physical form, whatever. This connection in your heart should at least raise the vibration, lift your own energy, and you feel it as a automatic rising smile in your own mouth, jaw. Big, expanded heart, built on a solid base up to the navel, open heart, and now you just move up through your throat area. Feel a lack of tension in this zone. Feel it sweet. Into the mouth, tongue. It's like the mouth is a big cave, and you go up to the upper edge. It's actually over the soft palate, nasopharyngeal, but it's soft tissue. And you go just above, pituitary body, hypothalamus, ventricle, floor of brain, pineal. So be here, more or less It's between eyebrows, between ears, above roof of mouth. That's a more 3+ dimensional, definitely beyond 3, but anyway, for simple purposes, 3+ dimensional third eye zone. And so now it becomes very concentrated, see? Now if you find yourself being pulled to the frontal region and between the eyebrows that way, get out of there. This is a misdirection. This is a dead-end cul-de-sac. This can even bring up other problems and issues. And as you get clear and centered, psychologically, hopefully a weight removed, feel lighter, clearer, things don't disturb you less. You're able to pause and see things, and then respond in whatever way. Be here. Mind slippy. Remember, that's its nature. Slip here, slip there. If the urges, the base urges and desires are strong, they'll pull you. If other aspects of who you interact with in life, they're not resolved, confuses the heart, that will pull you. If you're not clear, don't understand things yet, not sure what to work on, your central being here in the middle of your head, so to speak, deep in the brain, will also waver, wander, slip. So it's not that you just get good at one point. You organically develop into a very powerful, centered state. Which is why you have mixture of practice techniques. Now, as all that's going on, observe how your breath is, and hopefully it's still minimal. So the metabolic demand is low. That means there's minimal disturbance to navel, the heart, and just enough energy keeping that brain running. But when we talk about center point, centered, you've found a spot where you're not causing more response, activity, reaction. You're just balancing there. Without judgment or thought. Because you can balance at this point, you stay centered, and there's no extra brain activity that you just don't need right now. So can you be in this wonderful awe? Now, that alone is a wonderful progression, an inner journey, an inner, as you channel the resources of life through the different aspects. And keep in mind, this stuff needs a bit of daily attention. We have taken a half hour. Daily attention, continuous, even if you just have 5 to 10 minutes. But it'll give you more time, and it'll give you more freedom, lightness, awareness. It's whether you want to invest in it or not. And over years, it comes together. It's just like watching your baby to your infant, to your child, as you keep feeding them, caring for them. And there's an organic growth process that goes on, and so that's how it works here. So whether you want to stay up there in the brain, be in the heart, back to the navel, let yourself have a breath and either continue or decide, I'm good now, I will conclude. I will sign out. Nice to spend the time with you. I'll be on again Friday with a short bit of practice and then any of your questions. And Wednesday should be Richard Mary. And have a good week.